Aeonian Resources is preparing to drill for the very first time at its Ktunaxa copper project located in southeastern British Columbia. They've got the permits and they're targeting March 2026 as the start date for what could be a significant new copper discovery in Canada. Joining us is Andy Randall, CEO of the company. Andy, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, copper, right? It's been a metal so in focus this year, even more it feels like as we close off the year. So very interesting to hear you're starting drilling. From what we can read, you're focusing on something called the Jake target here on Ktunaxa. Why did you choose this as your starting point?
Well, we've had some really good surface results from Jake. There's a lot of historical data as well that we've managed to pull together, which is making this a pretty solid target. And then there's logistics as well. I mean, getting drilling in March is obviously a fairly cold time of year. There might be snow on the ground, so the Jake target is right off of one of the main roads on the project. So it cuts down our access costs, etc., to get in there. But one of the main reasons for me right now is I've been up and down that target quite a few times. We get some pretty good copper numbers on surface in samples, getting up to 0.32% copper, which is right in the ballpark of where we want to be for this kind of deposit. And we also get about 31 gram per ton silver, which is great as well. So nearly an ounce of silver in these rocks as well. And we were recently kind of pulling together historical data when we found a geophysical survey that had been carried out in the area in 2017. And what they noted was there was a chargeability anomaly, so a nice hot red spot under the ground there in their profile that you can actually see coming down from surface where we had our high grade on surface, dipping down at the same dip that the rocks are coming down. And what we're hoping for is that chargeability is this mineralization that is in the rocks captured in that area that we're seeing come to surface. So it's a nice, easy to get to target. We don't have to drill too deep. Water's handy for the drilling. There's some nice spaces to set up and log the core as well on site. So Jake it was.
And you've mentioned in the past that historical drilling nearby has already confirmed copper down dip in the Middle Creston formation. How does that give you confidence going into the drill program?
Yeah, so this was a hole that was drilled in 2017. It was actually drilled about 500 or 600 meters away from where we want to drill right now. So our Jake target is right in the nose of the fold, and as we've talked about before, the folds are the trap structures that we want to see. So this drill hole from 2017, we managed to get some data and some logging results from it. And at about 400 meters depth, so quite a bit of an extension down dip, they hit about 130 meters of material in the Middle Creston that had copper mineralization. The grades in there were getting up to about 700 parts per million copper, so highly anomalous. And we're hoping that this is a sign of the material that's tracking in towards the actual the fold structure itself in the trap where we're going to be drilling, where hopefully the grades will be a bit higher and the material will be more concentrated.
Mm-hmm. Now talk us through the timeline. So let's say in March we start. How long will the program be, and what are you looking to achieve here by the end of it?
Yeah, we're starting off pretty modest. We're looking at a 1,000-meter program just to go and prove ourselves. We want to go and prove this target up, prove ourselves out there. So, if we get out there at the beginning of March, we're planning on going right after PDAC to start the drilling. The program itself will probably take about 2 weeks. And then assays, obviously, depending on the labs there, between 4 and 6 weeks. But we're going to take an XRF gun out with us as well so that we can get more instant guides as to what's in there. The copper content reacts really well to an XRF. We are fundraising right now. We're in a really good situation lining up for this drill program. The hope is that we will have enough there to then go and look at some other targets as well. So rather than pulling the drill out and stopping, we've got something that's going. We can visually and with the XRF identify the copper, but hopefully then keep on going and look at some of the other targets that we've got on site as well.
Got it. So funding pending for the other targets other than Jake. Is it safe to assume that whatever you unlock at Jake will support expanding into other targets too?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is proof of concept drilling right now. So, everything else that we see has a similar geophysical target, similar target on surface, and geochemistry as well. So, yeah, hopefully this will be a good startup for us, good start.
Hmm. Now, this project is described as a district scale opportunity with a 50 kilometer copper trend. I mean, other than, of course, proving yourselves here, how does Ktunaxa evolve from this first drill program into a much larger exploration story in the middle of next year?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, it's been really interesting. As we've been marketing this, there's been a lot more interest, and we see people are really taking on the comparisons to our peers down in Montana with Hecla pulling together all the mines that they have down there. We're in a similar size area that Hecla has 4 or 5 mines that they've consolidated in now. So, I think that, if we can prove some success, we'll get a bit of traction going pretty quickly. As you mentioned right at the beginning of this, copper's in demand. Silver's a great credit to have on the site as well. They're nice, clean, deposits to mine, very easy to access. So hopefully, all those factors will come together, speak for themselves, and we'll get more money to go and explore more of these targets. 50 kilometers or 300 square kilometer project is a big area to look at. So it could be years long exploration potential here, but obviously bringing these up into resources hopefully over the years, and who knows, mines in the future.
Well, especially British Columbia here in Canada is known to be sensitive when it comes to community relations, local support. Mm-hmm. Walk us briefly through what that looks like here for your venture.
Yeah, so I mean, we want to be good neighbors. We're in a beautiful area of BC, but we're also in an area that has a really long historical background and relationship with mining. So, currently we have a lot of coal operations out to the east with Teck. We've got there's a lot of gravel and aggregate in the area as well. But you've also got the Sullivan mine, which operated for over 100 years in Kimberley, just north of us. So, there's a long-standing history with mining in this area. So we've done a lot of talking with people in Cranbrook, with Moy, et cetera, in the area. Again, no real pushback. It's an industrialized area that's looking for these kind of projects. But we've also got a lot of buy-in from First Nations. Our permits were written in collaboration with the Ktunaxa and Shuswap, and we use the Kempesket business arm, which is part of the Shuswap Nation, to help us with the wildlife management or archaeology. So even at this early stage, we're really integrating and we're listening to voices, but we're also bringing people in and to help and work alongside us and develop this project.
Now, I have one last question because I'm compelled here to learn more about this early stage story. But what about you? What about the people you've got on the technical side gives us confidence that this is, an early stage opportunity worth looking at and potentially putting money into?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got a really good team around me. I mean, I've been a geologist for 20 plus years. Sedimentary stuff is my background. So, I brought in a lot of people from the more marketing and financing side of things to really help get the story out there. But I have Christian Whitehead is on our team as well. He's our VPX. Great guy, a lot of connections, a lot of experience. He comes with a lot of, we call it the toys, so he can come up with a lot of the equipment that will make this quicker. I have my own consultancy as well, so we've got access to people, etc. So there's a lot of that coming in, but we've also had a lot of interest from we've had government geologists on site that came out in July last year. Or this year, sorry, I'm already thinking into 2026. So yeah, they've been at site looking at the critical metals aspect of it and strategic metals. We've had companies from BHP, Teck, etc., that have had conversations with us about this site as well, that are interested to find out what's going on in the backyard of where they're operating. And we've had even geologists that have come out to the site that have worked down in the Hecla area and visited those mines as well to give us a little bit of a comparison geologically. So, it's a big science project, but ultimately as well, like, it's a really strong exploration concept. And, we're seeing that now with more buy-in, through this financing, through our followings, etc., but also, from the people that we're attracting to come out and look at this site directly and talk me through it.
Well, appreciate you kind of giving us a detailed overview from your side about this science project. But we'll, of course, keep following Aeonian. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Guys, it's ALTN on the Venture Exchange. Like I always say, go to CEO.CA/ALTN to look at what investors, followers are saying and easily check sentiment right away for yourself. Thanks for watching.